Hello everybody, Great Ben here, and welcome to the 7th episode of Revice Reviews. Since last episode was such a shocker, let's just get into the recap. In the last episode, we learned who Kamen Rider Evil is, and it is Daiji. But he's being possessed by his inner demon Kagero. Also, Iki and Vice gained the power of Kamen Rider Decade with the Megalodon Vice Stamp. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get on to the episode. The episode begins with a group of thieves running from the cops. Just as one was about to be caught, the cheetah dead man shows up and gives the thief enough time to escape, and then the police begin to chase after the cheetah dead man. And we see that it was just a recording that Iki and Vice were watching, and George informs them it's the cheetah dead man phase 2. Then Wakabayashi tells them to return the human back to normal by defeating them, then tells Iki that it is a part of the 4-man thief team, and then Vice joins in on the conversation, and he and George share a little funny scene. And Iki asks if there's a Vice Stamp that could help with speed, and George presents to him the Jackal Vice Stamp. And when George shows them the form, Vice doesn't like it, so then George refuses to give them the Vice Stamp. Then Iki asks Wakabayashi if they know anything about Kamen Rider Evil, and Wakabayashi tells Iki that they're still investigating, so in other words, he doesn't tell Iki that Daiji is evil. Well, Kagero. Whatever. After Iki walks out of the room, he sees Daiji, Kagero, and they share a short conversation, and we get a flashback to the end of last episode, and we learned that Kagero didn't join the Dead Man's, and that he just wants Iki's head on a pike. Cut back to present Kagero, we see him point and shoot a finger gun at Iki behind his back, and the one person to see that is none other than Hiromi. Afterwards, we see a boy playing a fighting game, and we learn that he is one of the 4 thieves. Cut to the happy spot where Sakura and Boo is a character who we've seen before, I've just never said anything about him. Anyway, they tell Iki that the thieves are school kids. After saying that they did good work, Iki asks what Boo works as, and he doesn't tell him. Then Hiromi walks in asking if Daiji was there. Sakura then tells him that he isn't there and asks if anything is wrong. Hiromi says no and tells them that he found Daiji unconscious wearing full black in the Phoenix male bathrooms, and that Daiji doesn't remember putting the black on, and that he then ran out. After this, Hiromi gets a notification saying that the cheetah dead man has been spotted, and then him and Iki run out. Cut to the thieves being chased by the police. Again, the cheetah dead man then comes in to provide support again, and the thieves escape, like before. Then Iki and Vice in their Rex form surprise attack the cheetah dead man, and Iki tries to connect with it emotionally, but that doesn't work. And then the fight begins. Vice leads in, but the cheetah dead man's speed is just too much. Then Iki switches to the mammoth form, but with its speed, it dodges the boomerangs. Then Iki switches to eagle form and uses the remix, but the cheetah dead man defeats them with its speed and gets away. Cut to Sakura's karate training. We and Julia learn that her mother is almost ready to leave the hospital, and that her dad is going to be celebrating by going to an onsen. And Julio tries to make an effort to get invited. At least I think that's what he was trying to do. Cut to the dead man's base. They discuss if the cheetah dead man is a suitable candidate for being a gift text. Then Oteka says they have one more trump card to play, and then we cut to Daiji, who falls over after being bumped by some guy. And then he has a conversation with Kagero in a mirror, and we learn what his goal is: to kill Iki. And we learn why he wants to, because of a wish Daiji had. That wish is a world without my brother. After this, we see the thieves talk about the cheetah dead man, and one of them storms off. Cut to Phoenix, where Vice is apologizing to George and asks for the Jackal Vice Stamp, and George refuses. Then Wakabayashi tells George to give them the Vice Stamp, and George says he needs some time to change it up a bit. After this, we see Iki asking the principal of the thieves' school about the 4 thieves, and we learned that one of the 4 boys that got suspended moved overseas. And then we learn of the 3 thieves' parents. One of the 3 thieves' parents had gone missing, and that he was a doctor who wanted his son, named Hitoshi Maizano, to take over his hospital. Cut back to Phoenix, where George is telling Hiromi to give the Jackal Vice Stamp to Iki, and Hiromi asks why it isn't Daiji doing it. And Wakabayashi tells Hiromi that they think Daiji is the Vice Stamp thief, and that they think being unable to transform back at the ceremony because of the fear of the Rex dead man might have been the trigger for his recent actions. And Hiromi asks if this was his fault, and George says maybe. And Hiromi then says that it's his duty to stop Daiji. And then George gives Hiromi the black and red driver, which is called the Demon's Driver. It came with the Spider and Bata Vice Stamp. Bata means hopper, as in grasshopper. Cut to a police station where the 3 thieves try to turn themselves in, but the cheetah dead man comes in and drags Hitoshi out of the station. Then Iki arrives and we learn that the cheetah dead man is Hitoshi's father, Koji Maizano. And he then states how his son is going to become a doctor, just like him. And after a little argument, Iki transforms and the fight begins. Iki mainly using the Owen Buster 50. Then Kagero shows up and starts to battle Iki. Then a Gundaphone 50 is shot at Kagero, and we see that it's none other than Hiromi. He tosses the Jackal Vice Stamp to Iki, then pulls out the Demon Driver and transforms into Kamen Rider Demons.
Spider!
Deal. Decide up. Deep. Danger.
Then Hiromi starts to battle Kagero, and then Iki sets his sights on Koji, then transforms into his Jackal form, based off of Kamen Rider X-Aid. Well then, I would say that this form is probably new second favorite, but if it had the same big eyes as X-Aid, it'd probably be number 1. And I love how Vice is a skateboard now, that's so funny. Anyway, with the new speed boost, Iki quickly catches up with Koji and starts to attack with all his 6 skateboard tricks. Cut back to Hiromi and Kagero's battle, we see that they are pretty evenly matched, and to make things better, Hiromi can create webs from his belt and fingers, and he uses these webs to trap Kagero and asks if he's Daiji. But then Kagero quickly escapes and their battle continues. Cut back to Iki and Koji's chase battle. Iki quickly catches him, and then we cut back to Hiromi, where we see that he manages to overpower Kagero for a bit. But then Kagero uses his sword's finisher, and in response to this, Hiromi uses an energy web shield to block the attack, but Kagero got away. Cut back to Iki. To finish off Koji and return him to normal, Iki uses the Jackal stamping finish. Then a Phoenix team comes to take in the Cheetah Vice Stamp and Koji. Then Hitoshi tells his father that it's over, and then Iki tells Koji that there's still time to make up with his son. And then the episode ends with a smiling Iki and the updated Vice Stamp rally. Well then, that was a really amazing episode. I mean, we got the introduction of the secondary rider, Kamen Rider Demons. And can I say, this suit is just amazing. And the web pattern coming from his right shoulder is just so clever, because in the transformation, a spider comes down and attaches itself to his right shoulder. Well, I think that's enough rambling from me. If you enjoyed this video, demolish the like button, and if you want to subscribe, it really helps. Hope if you did. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!